Good morning, plug in and power up special edition. We are talking about having or living a spirit-led life. And what does that mean to live a spirit-led life? Well, for me, it's really about going with the flow of my higher self, my higher spiritual knowledge, wisdom, strength, goodness, and awesomeness. And so I really wanted to create a 7-day blitz where we're living our spirit-led life. Good morning, Greta. Good morning, Bev. Good morning, Lucia. Where we're living our spirit-led life, because when we do, everything else gets better. Life gets better. Life gets easier. Life is more flowing when you are in alignment, living in truth, living in clarity with your higher self, with that higher part of you, whatever you want to call it, spirit source creator, your soul, living in alignment. Hi, Natalie. So today in Spirit-Led Life, hi, Catherine. Hi, Susan. Good morning. How is everybody this morning? How are you feeling? Did you get to watch yesterday's video yet about the Spirit-Led Life? I think we were talking about, I don't even remember the subject, to be honest. My brain is so sleep deprived. The last week the boys are teething a lot right now, and so Cruz has been up a lot. Here's Cruzy. You want to say good morning? You want to say good morning to everybody? Yeah, you say hi. Yeah, you say hi. Yeah, Cruzy Woozy, he's got a lot of teeth coming in right now. Yeah, so Daddy and Mommy were up with him till 2 a.m. Daddy had to take him for a drive last night. Yeah, so that he could fall asleep in the car. I know. Yeah. So he's been a little bit sad this morning. He's been crying a lot this morning. Okay? It's okay. Let me find something for you to play with. Want to play with that? Yeah, so the topic for today, hi Tanis, Natalie, yes, I've been asking my higher self what I can do each day to support myself and my tribe. That's awesome. It's such a powerful place to take a stand from, because then it's not just you having to figure out all this stuff on your own, right? One of the things that I teach my clients and my students all the time is how to tap into the higher self and really how to listen. That's what intuition really is about. You know, everybody talks about, you know, the clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance, which is a part of it for sure. That's the facility, that's the faculty that we perceive from. But really, intuition is about listening. So I love that you're saying you're asking your higher self what you can do each day to support you and your tribe. And then the best thing to do is listen, to go into that state of receptivity, right? To be able to take in, hi Crystal, and receive the insights and the information that your higher self or your soul is bringing forward for you, because there's an answer and a solution to everything. Okay? Yeah. And with this little guy, we're listening, because he's a little bit sad with all these teeth coming in. Okay? Yeah, so nothing's really satisfying him today. Hey? Yeah. I know. What can I give you to play with? Do you want to play with this? Oh. Whoa. Hey, thank you. You can play with that if you want. Anything different, eh, to let them play with? Okay, so on to today's subject. I called it You Do You. And what I mean by that is, each of us, you know, I was doing a little write-up on this, and I was thinking back to when, you know, we're younger, right? When, especially these guys, between, you know, 0 to 7, they're pretty pure. Like, kids are pretty pure from 0 to 7. I mean, usually they start getting stuff piled on them at around 3, 4, 5, 6. So maybe not as pure as when they first come out of the womb, but pure as in they are them. They're not hindered by belief systems. They don't have all this stuff from outside of them placed on them. They don't have the belief systems placed on them as yet. They don't have the wounding placed on them. They don't have other people's perceptions of who they're supposed to be. Maybe some parents do that. But really, 0 to 3, most children and babies are very open. They are open to express who they are, and we just kind of let them play, and we let them do them. We let them be them, because we know, and I know, that their spirit self, their higher self, is so fully intact and so fully present that I don't have to do anything to mess that up. I don't have to put anything on them. I just need to let them be them. Hi. And as they get to be them, they get to grow up. If I can keep, and I mean, it's not always possible to not put our stuff on our children. I mean, that happens just by living, right? By example. Hey, baby, come on. He's teething, so he's feeling a little sad this morning. So we're just going to see if he wants milk. Yeah, so I find, hi Shalou, I find that, there are belief systems for sure. I might have to give you to Daddy, honey. Here. Oh, sweet little baby. Yeah. He's teething, so his gums are feeling sore. Hi Stephen, hi Sarah. Yeah, so I find, they do pick up on our belief systems for sure. But I want you to think back to when you were a child. And I was thinking about this because I had certain belief systems that were put on me as to who I was already. And maybe it was a reflection of who I was to become. Maybe it was a reflection of the being that I already was going to display, and maybe the people around me were just seeing it and perceiving it and then reflecting it back to me. That could be the case. But I want you to think back to when you were a child and think back to moments when you were really just you. Just you. You do you. When you were really in alignment with your pure self, with your full self, without all this other external stuff. Thanks for all the hearts, guys. Without all that external stuff placed on you. And then fast forward a little bit and start to think about those moments when other people's beliefs about who you were to be got placed on you. So for example, when I was in high school, even in, I'd say grade 7, 6, 7, 8, my teachers already had an expectation of me as a very smart, intelligent, excelling student. Like I was a really good student, and all of my teachers knew that about me, and they had an expectation of me to do well in school. Now that served me, for sure that served me because I did very well in school. But I have to say on the flip side of that, I always put a lot of pressure on myself because if I failed, it wasn't just failing me, I was failing all these people that had this expectation of me doing really great in school. And when I went to university, and my first year university, I took calculus of all things, just because I did well in calculus in high school. Calculus university is a whole other ballgame. I bombed. I failed my first subject ever. Now, I was in like 95 plus student throughout all school, okay? Grade school, high school. Bombing my first course ever in university when it's like supposed to be a big deal, detrimental to me. And I realized the biggest thing that was the hardest part was because I was putting pressure on myself and feeling like I had to do this, and yet I was failing. And I felt like a failure. I felt like a total failure because I had bombed this course. And, I think about that and I'm like, okay, even if I go even deeper on that, I remember times having to be such a perfectionist. And not just for myself, but because other people expected such great things of me, that if I didn't hold up to that, I was failing. So that's been a really big pattern for me of failing, feeling like I'm failing, not failing, failing, not failing. And it's a huge struggle. Ina's saying, same here, totally struggled with higher math and at university. Before that, lived and loved math. Yeah, exactly, right? And, I think that sometimes these patterns, these things that get put on us, yes, they serve a purpose for sure. They help shape who we need to become. But at a certain point, I've been talking to clients a lot about this week. At a certain point, some of our belief systems, some of those structures that have been put on us, they don't serve us anymore. They actually hinder us. And so that's what I'm finding within myself is that me not doing me not just being my full self, free to be me, being me from that past of, belief systems and what people have put on me traps me. It traps me. And it stops me from being free to just express the creative self that I am. One of the things that I did this sound, like a songwriter's journey, which I need to finish. We didn't get to finish it because I was pregnant and having babies, last year. But one of the things that I said to the boys, the Corn Brothers, was when they asked me, about singing. And I said, I've always wanted to sing. I said, but in high school, I was so good in school. I was so intelligent and smart and kind of moved in that direction that I actually picked up on the belief that, if I wasn't smart, if I didn't have my brains, then maybe I'd become a singer. But becoming a singer and singing was something I always wanted to do. It was something that was always there. That's me being me. The other stuff is stuff that got put on me, maybe because that's what was viewed, but all of a sudden, this is how patterns get picked up on by other people. we have experiences with other people, we have experiences of other people, and then we start to formulate these belief systems, these filters of who that person is, and then all of a sudden we see that person as who we think they are, and we keep doing that over and over and over again. Oh, I think that you are this, I think that you are this, I think that you are this. And then when you yourself are ready to bust free from that, it's not always so easy, because you've got this whole world seeing you in a certain capacity, in a certain way, and then you start seeing yourself in a certain capacity, in a certain way. So trying to break free from that sometimes can be challenging, because you're literally stuck in this vault, in this pattern of everybody seeing you and you seeing you in a certain capacity that may not actually be you. It may not actually be your full self. It may not actually be your higher self. It may not be the fully free expressed version of you that was once ago, long ago, when you were a baby and a child. You know, we watch Arya. We just let her play. We let her express however she needs to. We don't put any of what we think she's going to become or what we think she's going to be onto her. We just let her be her. And I hope that we can maintain that for as long as possible, and that she can formulate her own expression in the world that's free. And so I find that, and I want to hear your take on this. Hi, Bruce. Hi, Kimberly. Let me know if this is resonating with you. Like, do you find yourself ever feeling like you need the approval of other people outside of yourself? Because I know that was one thing that I went through. I still go through that sometimes, where I need that pat on the back, because I had it happen so much when I was younger. I needed that pat on the back. You are smart, you're intelligent, you're doing a good job. You know, needing that external approval as if somebody was proud of me. And yes, we need to be proud of ourselves, but when we need to look outside of ourselves because we're so used to everybody else telling us who we're supposed to be, we stop listening to here. We stop listening to that higher guidance. We start listening to everything else outside. And we stop listening in here. And in here is the truth. In here is who you really are. And so today the practice is, can you allow yourself, can you give yourself permission to come back to here and listen to here, and maybe gently and lovingly encourage yourself to let go maybe of some of the other things that have been put on you, maybe belief systems, maybe ways of being. Oh, honey love, it's okay. It's okay, he's teething, so he's feeling a little off today. Ina's saying, yes, parents kindly remind me who I am and whom I used to be, or encourage to remember me, which is nice, yet totally discouraging to break through old mindsets and old patterns and old beliefs. 100%, right? Greta's saying, yes, for sure. I often seek approval to feel I am good enough. Yeah, and that's one thing. I mean, I've done that so many times, that I've needed mentors, I've needed coaches, I've needed other people to see me. I needed other experts in the industry to see me, so to verify how awesome I am, to tell me how awesome I am. And I'm like, what about if I just tell myself I'm awesome? What if I just listen for my higher self and let my higher self remind me that I'm awesome? Because we all are. Each and every one of us is amazing, brilliant, beautiful, gifted, incredible, remarkable, miraculous, right? And your higher self, your soul remembers that. The spirit version of you 100% knows that. And we just have to start listening. Yeah, right? You love that I'm nursing. Yeah, this is day-to-day life right now. Nursing twins. Sometimes there's one baby on each boob. Yeah, and so it's about remembering who we really are. It's about remembering that inner voice that's always been there telling us how amazing we are. When we start seeking outside of ourselves, we turn ourselves over backwards. We bend backwards, twist ourselves into a freaking pretzel, and we stop remembering who we are, because we're listening to this one, and we're listening to that one, and we're listening to this one, and we're listening to that. Who do you think I should be? 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 And we do that over and over again in our life at several points in our life, because we stop knowing who we are. And today I want you to remember who you are, and I want you to remember how awesome you are. You know, I think back to when I did my yoga teachers training down in Costa Rica. This was 11 years ago already. And I remember, you know, I've always been doing yoga. I've been doing yoga since I was 14. Okay. So like doing yoga is just a part of me. And fulfilling the yoga teachers training was just a fulfillment to say, okay, now I'm officially a yoga teacher, right? Like I've been doing yoga since I was 14, before it even became a thing. And so there's this like critiquing that happens, right? So they watch you do your yoga teachers training, and then they critique you. Well, they had nothing to say about my teaching style. I love teaching. I have been a natural born teacher my entire life. It's just something that's there. I love sharing information. I love being of service. I'm a healer. That's part of who I am, and I've known that since I was a little child. So here I go into teaching, right? And it's a big deal. Like everybody's grading you and teaching you and watching you or grading you and watching you and observing. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, everything was great. Your tone was amazing. The way you instructed was amazing. But I was doing triangle pose, when you put your hands on your hips and you spread your legs into a triangle, and then you take a deep breath and you lean forward and you bring your head down to the floor, as far to the floor as you can. And then, then you take a deep breath and you come back up. Now there's different ways to do that posture. You can come all the way down and then take another breath and come all the way back up. Or you can have them have a step in between, place their hands on the floor to come halfway up and then come all the way up. That's what they critiqued me on, that I didn't slow down the halfway point to come all the way up. And I was like, what is it within human minds that we have to find the crappy? We have to find something to critique. We have to find something wrong. Why do we do that? Why do we look for the one broken thing out there? Why do we look for, the one flower that is a different color than the others and it's not perfect? We have this thing within our mechanism, within our brains, because of these early childhood things, that we aren't perfect. We've been told, oh, we're not perfect. You got to fix this. You're not that. You got to fix this. You're not that. And then we start to look outside of ourselves and we go, okay, well, you tell me how good I'm doing. You tell me how awesome I am. You tell me who I'm supposed to be, because I don't even know that anymore. I'm not even connected to that anymore. And that's one of the saddest things for me. Oh, honey love. Oh, honey. Poor baby's teething. I feel so bad. It's like you can't do anything, right? Like there's nothing you can really do other than put him on the boob, But, I've had several times in my life when this has happened. Hey, babe, I'm going to have to let Daddy come take you for a sec then, hun. Hey, do you want to play with something else? You want to play with something else? Let's see. What can I give you? So there's been several times along my journey where that's happened, and we pick out the worst in us because we've been told sometimes, we've been graded. That's really what it is. You didn't do the greatest on that test. Oh, yeah, thanks. If you could grab them, girl, that'd be awesome. We didn't do the best on that test, right? You passed, you failed. You're not the best at this sport. Oh, I know. Oh, they're so not happy when they're not with mommy these days. It's the craziest thing. I feel so bad. I'm like, I just not much I can do. So I'm going to keep this, I'm going to try to wrap up here in the next couple of minutes and focus my thoughts. So, and I want to read your comments. So let me know if this resonates with you, this topic. So anyway, we've been given these tests. We've been given these grading systems to be a certain way and pass or fail, great or not great, awesome, not awesome. And we take all of that in, and then we start judging ourselves instead of remembering the perfection that we actually are. What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if there's nothing broken? What if you are perfect, whole, amazing, awesome, complete, radiant, perfect, like divine perfect, as your soul intended you to be? What if? And what if we could actually step into that today? What if we could step into that today? What if we could remember how awesome and how perfect and how divine we actually are? We would stop judging ourselves. We'd stop judging other people. We'd stop pointing the finger and be like, you got to be more of this. You got to stop doing that. And we'll stop doing that to ourselves. When we can let that go, we come back to the truth of who we are. We come back to our wholeness. We come back to the, beauty that we are. And we stop turning ourselves over backwards to try to people please and become something that we're not. So that's why I labeled it, you do you. You do you. And I do me, and we're free. You do you, I do me, we're free. That's really what it boils down to. And it's not just the you that you think that you are. It's the you that you actually are. The you that's free from the belief systems. This is why healing our past is so important. This is why having a spiritual practice is so important. Because when we can clean up the past, it's no longer hindering us. It's no longer weighting us. When we have that spiritual practice, it allows us to tap in and tune into a higher consciousness and remember who and what we truly are as the divine beings that we are. And with that freed up and this in play, you are radiant. You are awesome. Another quick example, and then I'd love to hear your feedback on this as well. Another quick example, of me turning myself around backwards and upside down and everything else. I used to teach at the Transformational Arts College, which is an amazing holistic college in Toronto. It's one of the oldest holistic natural modalities, healing modalities college in Canada. And I went back after I graduated, I went back and I started teaching. Because again, that was something that people saw in me. They saw me as a natural born leader, a natural born teacher. And so I always was given these opportunities. I was always given teaching opportunities, leadership opportunities. And I love that. I love that people could see that in me. And I'm grateful for that stuff. And we'd get these feedback forms at the end of every course that we would teach. How did your teacher do? Right? And all these feedback questions and forums and whatnot. And you get to read them, right? And the feedback was always, you're an amazing teacher, you're an amazing teacher. You bring the concepts down, like make them so grounded, take a big spiritual concept and make them really grounded, which I love doing. And I think it's really important for me to be able to express that way. And then there'd be like 29 beautiful responses, okay? 29 compliments. And then there'd be one, and I'll never forget it, one. And the comment was, you tend to tell too many stories. I want you to just tell me the practical stuff. What do I need to know? Take the stories out. And that hit me so hard because I was like, that's my natural teaching style. I've always incorporated examples and stories because it gives an example to the teaching. It's one thing to have the concept and to have that, brain thing, but it's another to have this tangible, spirited, emotional, connected story to it that fuses it all together. That was my natural way of teaching. But when I got that comment, it hit me so hard because again, I was always seeking approval outside of myself. And that one comment out of 29 positive took me out, totally took me out. And that's the one I obsessed over. And I was like, oh my God, I'm totally screwing up as a teacher here. People don't want to hear my stories. People don't want to listen to me in that way. I got to take this out. So I started bending myself over backwards, taking out my own natural teaching style, taking out the story and just teaching the concept, teaching the work, which yes, that's important. But the story, and now everything, right? Like in the marketing world, everybody's like, it's all about the story. Even Hay House Publishers, it's all about the story and then weaving in the teachings into the story. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what I've been doing since day one. That's what I've always done. And yet I took that out because one person out of, the whole told me that they didn't like it. So I want you to apply that to your own life and think about the times that you get all these amazing compliments, all this amazing love showered your way. And that one time that someone says something negative, one time somebody attacks, and one time somebody says poo-poo on that, I didn't like that. Where does your mind go? Do you focus in on that and do you take that in? Or do you say, you know what? Thanks so much. I appreciate the feedback and I'm going to focus on who I know myself to be. It requires strength within us to let go. And it's also to let go of the compliments too. Gabriel and I have talked a lot about this. It's like you can't have one without the other. Right? It's like if I don't want the negative feedback, then I don't need the positive feedback either. I need to let all of that go, strip that away for a second. It's nice. We like to feel good, right? Like we like to have people tell us how awesome we are. It's a reminder. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it's really about you getting back to you doing you and you remembering you for who you really and truly are. And when you're free from needing that external stimuli, that external whatever, the approval, or the proud, or the whatever that other stuff is, when you can let go of all that and come back to you and remember how awesome you are, and remember how great you are, and remember how beautiful you are, and remember how gifted you are, and remember how miraculous and incredible and fantastic and miraculous and marvelous you are, that's when you are back in alignment with your higher self. That's really living a spirit-led life because you're not looking out there anymore for that stuff to verify who you are. You verify who you are. So that's the teaching for today. I hope this resonates. Again, we're doing 7 days of spirit-led life. It's a special plug-in and power up every morning for the next 6 days at 9 a.m. All you have to do is remind yourself, put it in your calendar. If you love this content, feel free to share it. Hashtag Spirit-Led Life. Let's create a movement together. And if you have any questions or comments about this content that I just brought forward, please feel free to post it here. Share it with your community. Share it on your page. Share it with your peeps. Share it in your groups. Let's create a movement that fires people up to become who they truly are. I want to just read one more comment. I'm going to say hi, Jaden. Hi, Kay. Hi, Patty. Hi, Kathy Lee. Oh my God, Kathy, I haven't seen you in so long. I think about you all the time, girl. Natalie's saying, our brains have been wired for survival, 100%, and it's constantly looking for threats in order to stay alive. It's not wholehearted living. Got to get out of the head and into the heart, 100%. Yeah, our brains are all about patterns. Everything is about a pattern, right? So it's like if I do the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, my brain's going to pattern for that. It's going to wire for that. But the cool thing is our brains they're very malleable. They're like Play-Doh. They can be reshaped and remolded over and over and over again. It just requires a little habitual change. right? And so that's why I want to do these 7 days to kind of kickstart that. And at the end of the 7 days, if you guys feel that you want to continue to do some work with me as a spiritual teacher and a mentor to help you continue that journey to plug into your higher self, to expand your intuitive knowing, to tap in and tune into your inner guidance and your messages, to become the channeler of your life, then I'm going to put forward an opportunity for you guys to be able to work with me and to go further in that work if it so calls. Nothing hidden, all exposed, all authentic about, what's going on here, because I find that when we can live from our higher self, when we can tap into that higher guidance system and get the messages for ourselves, again, we stop looking outside for those answers and for whatever it is that we think that we're getting. Because again, sometimes if I look outside here and I go over here and I go over here and I go over here, I'm not being me. I'm being the me that that person wants me to be, and that person wants me to be, and that person wants me to be. And then I get so lost and confused that I don't even know me. And so when people say I feel lost, you're never really lost. You just probably have listened to too many outside influences that you think that's who you are out there, but you really just don't know. We need to strip all that away, heal and clear that, lift and shift, and come back to the full you, come back to the remembered you, come back to the soul you. So 100%. Ina's saying, this is so cool, as I have come to conclusion that I celebrated all my imperfect perfections. Yes, you're right, girlfriend. They truly are my greatest assets. You are right on, girlfriend, 100%. When people talk about we're not perfect, we actually are. That's an excuse of the ego. When people say, oh, we're not perfect, we're human, we're not perfect. Yes, you're going to have human experiences. You're not human, by the way. You're never human. This is a temporary experience. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. There's a very big distinction and difference between being human, I am human, versus I am a spiritual being having a human experience. Before the boys got here, they're 9 months. It's a great reminder. Before they got here, they existed in time and space. I saw them before they existed. Aria, I've seen her since I was like 16, 17, 18 years old. She existed somewhere before she came into physical form. Right? We are spiritual beings having a human experience. You might have some challenges. You might have some imperfections that you experience. But you know what? At the end of the day, if we strip away that concept of perfect, imperfect, you actually are perfect. From the eyes of your soul, you're perfect. It sees only perfection. Even in the craziness, even in the hiccups, even in the bumps, even in the challenges, even in the pain, your higher self is still like, you know what? It's perfect. Everything unfolded exactly as it needed to. It's perfect. All the hiccups, perfect. All the challenges, perfect. All the stuff that you went through, perfect. It's all perfect because it's part of a grand design designed for you to have an awesome human experience. Not always challenging. We're not supposed to be in pain all the time. We're not supposed to be in suffering all the time. That is a choice. So you're actually perfect. And I choose today to see the perfection that you all are. I choose to see the perfect that you are. I choose to see the whole that you are. I choose to see the radiance that you are, no matter what. And if you can start choosing to see that for yourself too, whoo, you are going to fly today. You're so welcome, everybody. You're so welcome. Hi, Agnieszka. Hi, Samina. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It's so powerful and so perfect. It is so perfect. So with that, I'm going to wrap. Again, feel free to share the content. If you love this, post it wherever you need to. And hashtag, what's the hashtag again? Spirit-led life. Spirit-led life. Hashtag spirit-led life. And I will, we're going to do the card reading. So if you're not on my email, yesterday I sent out an email, and I'll post the link here so that you guys can get on the email list if you want. But what I'm doing is I have 7 different card decks over there. And yesterday I did this where I just randomly grabbed a card deck and I grabbed a card and it was so perfectly aligned. So I'm going to do that again right now, tuning into all of you and what you need to hear, because we're all tapped in. We're part of the same frequency and the same consciousness. So I'm going to tap in over here and I'm not even going to look. I'm going to just pull this deck. It's my Rumi Oracle deck today. Okay, talk about somebody being who they were, like Rumi. Come on, can't get any better than that, right? And so this is what I did yesterday. I randomly chose a card. I just split the deck, and I'm gonna just shuffle a little bit. It was a great pick yesterday, right? And I emailed the here it is. I emailed the there's 2 that want to come. I emailed the card and the meaning of what that card was, and I did my own little reading and take on it. So today, and I'm going to do the same thing. So if you want access to that, and as well at the end of the 7 days, I'm going to send a really beautiful meditation that kind of wraps up everything that we're talking about in the 7 days. I have no idea what the meditation is because I haven't pre-planned it. It's literally all being dialed down from spirit, okay? Right. Okay. So, Layla, I have no idea what Layla is. Card number 34, Layla. I'm going to have to look this one up because I don't know. And if you want to know what the answer to this one is, I'm going to post the link and you just have to add your name and email address and then I'll send you an email as to what this card is. Layla, she is gorgeous. I'm just going to look at it quickly. It looks like somebody actually being their higher self, which is pretty cool. And the other one is you show the way. Right? So perfect. You show the way. You show the way. I love it. So aligned. So I am going to tune into these cards. I'm going to do my write-up as soon as we get off the thing here. And I'm also going to probably post a little bit about what Rumi has to say about these two cards. Yeah, Sarah saying, thank you for mirroring glorious potential in truth. Reality of perfection. I love that. Thank you so much, Sarah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a sweet and loving day. Remember, you be you today. You be you. Let everybody else do them. You be you and tune in to who you truly are. Maybe you're going to be pleasantly surprised by some things that have been hiding out in you that might want to reemerge. Have a awesome day. I love you all, and I will see you again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Oh, and I'm still going to do my regular plug-in and power up, I think, with Aria today at noon. So I might see you guys there. Bye!